What's going on, everybody? In today's video we're going to be discussing whether or not Cisbot/Gend Pokemon are safe to use and what is a Gend Pokemon. So basically a Gend or Cisbotted Pokemon is a Pokemon created through a program for Windows that uses custom firmware on a Nintendo Switch, and you just send through a trade command via Discord usually, and then that'll send through a trade with a link code for you to use in your Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield, or whatever game that is. So today I will be showing a couple examples of a caught Pokemon within Scarlet and Violet, and then a Gend Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, and comparing the two and whether or not you can tell the difference. Some people like to say that a Cisbotted or Gend Pokemon are fake or hacked or can't be used online in battles or transferred into Pokemon Home, which is 99% of the time not the case. There are a few instances as to when a Pokemon cannot be transferred into Pokemon Home, which we'll go over today, but that doesn't generally mean that they are hacked. A hacked Pokemon is usually a Pokemon that is shiny locked, is holding an item that it can't have within that game, a Pokemon that doesn't exist within that game, has moves it can't learn. So for today's video, we're going to use Skeldurge. We're going to use the one that I was given at the start of Scarlet and Violet, and one that I've also genned into my Scarlet and Violet game, and we'll put them side by side and have a look whether we can tell the difference. So we'll start with this Pokemon. As you can see, Skeldurge, type Fire and Ghost, Terra type is Fire with my original trainer name, that's also my original ID. Caught in a Pokeball, level 89, isn't shiny. We move over to the next page, you can see all the moves are normal: Hyper Voice, Flamethrower, Torch Song, Shadow Ball. Stats are pretty normal, nothing special here. My ability is Blaze. As you can see, this Pokemon is pretty gentle by nature. We first met on the 18th of the 11th, 22 at Cabapoko. At this time, this Pokemon's level 5. Also, ribbons, we've got the Paldea Champion and Gorman Mark, so nothing too out of the ordinary there. Now we'll go down to the next Skeldurge. Once again, as you can see, Skeldurge, Fire, Ghost, Terra type's Fire. My trainer name, which is Nutella Guy, same trainer ID number, same moves, Pokeball, level 89, stats are identically the same, ability is the same. A little bit different here, this Pokemon is pretty gentle by nature. I first met it when it hatched from an egg. I received this egg on the 18th to the 11th, 22 from a picnic. It also hatched on that date in a picnic. As you can see, the ribbons are the same. So basically they look pretty similar, these two. The only difference being this one is the one that I genned in that was received and hatched via an egg. With that said, it's pretty hard to tell the difference. They both have the same stats, the same moves, both aren't shiny, nothing really out of the ordinary, doesn't have a whole lot of ribbons. So what's the difference? Will we be able to put this Skeldurge into Home? Let's find out. Alrighty, now that we're in Pokemon Home, we will transfer both to prove that the Gend and the legitimate Skeldurge can both go into Home. So we'll move this one over, move the other one over. We'll then quit, so it saves. Your box has been saved. Now we'll just go back into that box, back into Scarlet and Violet, connect. Now that that's done loading, we can check both our Skeldurge in Pokemon Home. Check the summary. As you can see, first met in Paldea on the 18th of 11th, 2022. OT is Nutella Guy, ID number is exactly the same, 877823. We just head over to our other one. As you can see, first met in Paldea on the 18th of 11th, 2022. My OT, and ID number. Only thing different here are the characteristics between the two, mischievous and alert to sounds. The one with the alert to sounds is the Sisbot/Gen version of this Pokemon. So as you can see, no issue with transferring Gen Pokemon into Pokemon Home. Now we'll look at that issue earlier I was speaking about where some Pokemon aren't able to be transferred into Pokemon Home. So after Pokemon updated Home to version 3.1.0, Pokemon that don't natively exist or it isn't their origin game will no longer be supplied a home tracker. So if you try to, example, gen this Rayquaza and trade it straight into Scarlet and Violet instead of Sword or Shield, for example, where it can natively be caught, it won't be able to be transferred into Home, and we'll show you that example now. So we'll try and move this Rayquaza into Pokemon Home. We'll quit out of that. Would you like to save? Yes, we will. Just wait a minute for this. There we go. An error has occurred. Returning to title screen. Error code 10015. Once again, this doesn't mean that the Pokemon is hacked. It's simply after update 3.1.0 is no longer supplied with a home tracker. These Pokemon are still 100% safe and valid to use in Pokemon battles online, trade to your friends, choose within the game. You just will not be able to transfer it into Pokemon Home. Now that we're back into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, we'll just check out that Rayquaza in the game. Check its summary. As you can see, everything looks pretty normal here. Original trainer is me, but it is not my ID number. It's holding a Life Orb, shiny, all legitimate moves. All its stats are legitimate. Its ability is legitimate. This Pokemon is pretty hasty by nature. It seems to have traveled across space and time to join me from the Sinnoh region. It likes to thrash about. Ribbons. Doesn't have any ribbons. But yeah, it's basically a legitimate Pokemon that you can use within the game, online and in battles, just not transferable into Pokemon Home. And that will apply to most legendaries that aren't native to Scarlet and Violet. So if you generate a Koraidon in, for example, that will be able to be transferred into Pokemon Home as it is native to that game. So to recap, Sisbotted or Genned Pokemon are 100% safe to use. All of the YouTubers like Blaines, Game Day, Brasscoin, myself for example, that hosts giveaways or have trade bots within our Discord, so all genned. We've explained today why some can't be transferred into Pokemon Home due to the lack of home trackers after update 3.1.0, but this does not mean they are hacked. They just have to be genned in the origin game they belong in. Still, at the end of the day, guys, there are going to be a few negative people that say this is cheating because you didn't catch them within your game naturally, which is fine. You're entitled to your own opinion. The way I look at it is people have full-time jobs, lives, they're parents. They don't have hours and hours and hours like some people do to grind, reset their game for a 1 in 4,000 chance or higher odds at getting their favorite shiny. So using a genning service is a quick and easy way to be able to use a Pokemon today and enjoy the game they want to play. I don't see it as cheating as such in a game that is 99% single player experience. Sure, there is competitive side to Pokemon, which I say yes, don't take in hacked Pokemon that give you an extreme advantage. But for 99% of the case, regular gen spotted Pokemon abide by all the rules of Pokemon in terms of the stats, the moves, and the abilities can only be legal to what exists within that game. Anyway guys, with all that said, I hope you all have a wonderful day and can sleep a little bit easier knowing that gen Pokemon are 100% safe to use within your game. Catch you later everyone.